Here are 50 well-known quotes by country leaders, past and present, focused on leadership, nationhood, freedom, and responsibility.
1. Abraham Lincoln, USA President. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. It's meant that a true democracy is one where power belongs to the citizens. The government is created by the people, run by representatives chosen by the people, and exists to serve the people's interests. He emphasized that such a democratic system is precious and must be protected so it continues to exist and does not disappear from the world. 2. George Washington, USA President. It is better to offer no excuse than a bad one. It's mean that bad excuse often makes a situation worse. It can sound dishonest, disrespectful, or careless, and it may damage trust. By contrast, remaining silent or simply admitting a mistake shows maturity and accountability. 3. Thomas Jefferson, USA President. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. He is emphasizing that liberty survives only if people constantly protect it. If citizens become careless, passive, or unaware, those in power may gradually take away rights, sometimes without force, but through laws, corruption, or manipulation. 4. Theodore Roosevelt, USA President. Speak softly and carry a big stick. You will go far. He is emphasizing that true influence comes from quiet confidence backed by real strength. You don't need to constantly show power or threaten others. People take you seriously when they know you can act if necessary. 5. Franklin D. Roosevelt, USA. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. He is emphasizing fear can be more dangerous than the actual problem we face. Roosevelt said this in 1933 during the Great Depression, when millions of Americans were unemployed and hopeless. People were afraid to spend money, invest, or take action. That fear paralyzed society and made the crisis worse. 6. John F. Kennedy, USA. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. His famous words deeper mean that active citizenship. Democracy works best when people participate, not when they are passive. Shared responsibility. A strong nation is built by its people's efforts, not just by the government. Unity and service. Especially during the Cold War era, Kennedy wanted Americans to unite and serve a higher purpose. 7. Ronald Reagan, USA President. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. Freedom is not automatic or permanent. His meant that freedom does not sustain itself on its own. Just because one generation enjoys freedom does not guarantee the next will have it. Without care and protection, it can fade or be taken away. 8. Barack Obama, USA President. Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. His words mean that real change depends on our own action, not on waiting for others or for the perfect moment.
9. Winston Churchill, UK Prime Minister. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. He emphasizes resilience and perseverance. Neither success nor failure should control your confidence. What truly matters is your willingness to keep moving forward, no matter what happens.
10. Margaret Thatcher, UK Prime Minister. You may have to fight a battle more than once to win it. This means that success is rarely achieved in a single attempt. Here's a clear breakdown of the idea. Setbacks are normal. Even if you lose or fail once, it doesn't mean the cause is lost. Persistence matters. Real victories often require repeated effort, resilience, and determination. Lessons from failure. Each battle teaches you something that makes you stronger and better prepared next time. Long-term struggle. Whether in politics, personal goals, or life challenges, progress often comes through endurance, not quick wins. 11. Nelson Mandela, South Africa. It always seems impossible until it's done. This quote means that before we achieve something difficult, it often feels unrealistic or unattainable. Fear, doubt, lack of resources, or opposition can make a goal appear impossible. But once the task is completed, we realized it was possible all along. 12. Mahatma Gandhi, India. The future depends on what you do today. Emphasize the power of present actions in shaping what lies ahead. Gandhi is reminding us that the future is not something distant or fixed. It is created by the choices, habits, and efforts we make right now. Every small action today, whether positive or negative, contributes to the outcomes we experience tomorrow.
13. Jawaharlal Nehru, India. A moment comes, but rarely in history, when we step out from the old to the new. Nehru was emphasizing that independence was not just a political change, but a moral and psychological transformation. The end of colonialism marked the birth of a new national identity. With freedom comes responsibility to build a just, inclusive, and progressive society.
14. Indira Gandhi, India Prime Minister. You cannot shake hands with a clenched fist. Her mean that a powerful metaphor about diplomacy, cooperation, and human relationships.
15. Abraham Lincoln, USA. Nearly all men can stand adversity, but if you want to test a man's character, give him power. Adversity refers to hardship, challenges, or suffering. Lincoln is saying that most people can endure difficulties, hardship, or pressure. In tough times, people often show resilience because survival or necessity forces them to act. Character refers to one's moral qualities, integrity, and true nature. Power gives freedom and influence over others. When someone has power, there are fewer constraints and they can act on their impulses, biases, or desires. Lincoln implies that how a person uses power reveals their real character, whether they act justly, ethically, and responsibly, or selfishly, abusively, or corruptly. 16. Napoleon Bonaparte, France Emperor. A leader is a dealer in hope. Means that the core role of leadership is not just giving orders or holding power, but inspiring belief in a better future. Hope motivates people. In difficult times, war, crisis, uncertainty, people feel fear and doubt. A true leader gives them confidence that their struggle has meaning and that success is possible. Vision creates direction. Leaders sell hope by presenting a clear vision of where the group is going. When people can see a future worth fighting for, they are more willing to endure hardship. Emotional leadership matters. Napoleon understood that armies do not win battles by strategy alone. Morale, belief, and trust in leadership often decide victory. Hope keeps people moving forward when logic alone is not enough. Hope is not false promises. The quote does not mean lying. Effective leaders offer realistic hope, confidence grounded in action, competence, and belief in the people they lead. 17. Charles de Gaulle, France. Politics is too serious a matter to be left to the politicians. Carries a deep warning about power and responsibility. He believed that politics affects the fate of an entire nation, not just those in office. Because political decisions shape people's lives, security, freedom, and future, they cannot be entrusted only to professional politicians who may be driven by personal ambition, party interests, short-term gains, and power struggles rather than the public good. 18. Volodymyr Zelensky, Ukraine President. Freedom must be armed better than tyranny. Reflect Ukraine's experience and a broader political and moral argument about defending democracy. To survive, freedom must be protected with strength equal to or greater than its enemies.
19. Angela Merkel, Chancellor of Germany. If we want something to stay as it is, it has to change. Stability requires adaptation. Societies, institutions, and values exist in a constantly changing world. If they refuse to adapt, they risk becoming irrelevant or collapsing. Change is a tool for preservation, not destruction. Merkel suggests that reform doesn't mean abandoning core principles. Instead, it helps protect them. Proactive change prevents forced change. By adjusting early and thoughtfully, we avoid crises that might impose sudden or damaging transformations. Political and social context. As a leader during economic crises, EU reforms, and migration challenges, Merkel emphasized gradual, pragmatic change to maintain Germany's stability. 20. Otto von Bismarck, Chancellor of the German Empire. Politics is the art of the possible. He believed that politics requires pragmatism, not idealism. Leaders must act based on what can realistically be achieved, given the balance of power, public opinion, and circumstances. Compromise is often necessary. Insisting on absolute ideals can lead to failure or conflict.
21. Golda Meir, Prime Minister of Israel. Trust yourself. Create the kind of self that you will be happy to live with. Trust yourself means having confidence in your own judgment, values, and inner voice. Instead of depending entirely on others' opinions or social pressure, it encourages believing that you are capable of making meaningful decisions for your life. Create the kind of self suggests that identity is not fixed. You actively shape who you are through choices, habits, and actions. Character, values, and purpose are built, not inherited. That you will be happy to live with points to living in alignment with your conscience. True happiness comes from being at peace with yourself, knowing your actions reflect your principles, even when no one is watching. 22. David Ben-Gurion, Israel Prime Minister. Anyone who doesn't believe in miracles is not a realist. Sounds paradoxical at first, but it carries a deep historical and philosophical meaning. Great change often begins where logic says it shouldn't work. Belief in the possibility of the impossible is essential for nation-building, leadership, and survival. Progress requires acting as if miracles can happen, because sometimes they do. 23. Xi Jinping, China President. Happiness is achieved through hard work. He emphasizes a belief that true and lasting happiness does not come easily or instantly. It is the result of effort, discipline, and perseverance over time. You feel truly happy when you work hard for your goals and see the results of your effort, not when things are handed to you easily. 24.
Deng Xiaoping, Chinese leader. It doesn't matter whether a cat is black or white as long as it catches mice. It is a metaphor about pragmatism over ideology. His meant that results are more important than labels or theories. Whether a policy is called socialist or capitalist doesn't matter. What matters is whether it works and improves people's lives.
25. Sun Tzu, China, general and strategist. The greatest victory is that which requires no battle. Expresses a core idea of the art of war. True mastery lies in winning without fighting. Sun Tzu believed that war should be a last resort because conflict is costly. Lives are lost, resources are drained, and long-term stability is damaged. A commander who is truly skilled can defeat the enemy before swords are drawn.
26. Lee Kuan Yew, the first Prime Minister of Singapore. A nation's strength lies in the discipline of its people. Reflects his core philosophy behind Singapore's transformation from a poor, vulnerable state into a strong, prosperous nation. A country becomes strong not just through money or power, but through how its people behave every day. When citizens are disciplined, the nation becomes efficient, trusted, stable, and resilient. 27. Justin Trudeau, Canada. Diversity is Canada's strength. His means that Canada becomes stronger, more successful, and more united because of its diversity, not in spite of it. Canada's differences, race, culture, beliefs, and experiences are not weaknesses. When embraced and respected, they make the country more creative, resilient, and prosperous. 28. Pierre Trudeau, Canada, Prime Minister. Democracy is a process, not a condition. His means that democracy is never something a country simply achieves once and keeps forever. Instead, it is an ongoing, living practice that requires constant effort, participation, and renewal. Democracy is like a garden. If you don't water it, protect it, and care for it regularly, it will fade, even if it once flourished. 29. Simón Bolívar, Venezuelan statesman. More than anyone, we have been victims of deception. It is a deeply reflective comment on the political and social struggles of Latin America during his time. In essence, Bolívar's words are a warning and lament. Freedom is fragile, and people are often misled by false promises or treacherous leadership. He reflects the tragic irony that the fight for liberation can sometimes leave its own people betrayed by the very ideals and leaders they trusted. 30. Fidel Castro, leader of Cuba. I began a revolution with 82 men. If I had to do it again, I'd do it with 10 or 15. Reflects several layers of meaning, both practical and philosophical, about leadership, revolution, and strategy. Here's a breakdown. Emphasis on small, committed groups. Quality over quantity. Practical reflection from experience. Philosophical insight. In short, Castro was highlighting the power of a small, determined, and loyal group over a larger, less cohesive one, reflecting both strategic wisdom and the hard-earned lessons of revolution. 31. Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the first president of Turkey. Peace at home, peace in the world. The meaning of his statement is peace at home, internal peace, peace in the world, external peace. Underlying philosophy. Atatürk saw peace as both a domestic and global obligation. You cannot expect a country at war with itself to help bring peace to others, and by securing internal stability, a nation can become a positive force internationally. 32. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey. Democracy is a means, not an end. It is quite loaded and can be unpacked in terms of political philosophy and governance. Erdogan's words imply that democracy is a practical tool to achieve national or political objectives, rather than the ultimate goal of governance. It frames democracy pragmatically, giving policymakers leeway to adjust or bypass democratic norms if they believe it serves higher objectives. 33. Aung San Suu Kyi, State Councilor of Myanmar. Fear is a habit. So is courage. These are a profound observation about human behavior and mindset. In essence, Aung San Suu Kyi is saying our emotional responses are patterns we can choose to form. Fear doesn't have to dominate us. We can train ourselves to respond with courage instead. 34. Julius Nyerere, the first President, Tanzania. A nation which refuses to learn from others is doomed. His statement carries a powerful message about the importance of humility, openness, and adaptability in nation-building and governance. Nyerere is advocating for openness, collaboration, and intellectual humility. Nations that study, adapt, and integrate the lessons from other societies are far more likely to succeed and thrive than those that ignore the world around them. 35. Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana. Freedom is not something that one people can bestow on another. Is a powerful reflection on the nature of true independence and self-determination. Let's break it down carefully. Freedom must be self-realized. Rejecting paternalism or external control. Empowerment and responsibility. Historical context. Nkrumah's message is about self-determination. Genuine freedom arises internally, not from external generosity. It's a call for agency, courage, and collective effort. 36. Haile Selassie, Ethiopian Emperor. Throughout history, it has been the inaction of those who could have acted that made it possible for evil to triumph. He is emphasizing that evil does not succeed only because of bad people, but because good people choose not to act. Inaction means staying silent, neutral, or passive when injustice happens. Those who could have acted refers to people with power, influence, knowledge, or opportunity to help. Evil to triumph suggests that wrongdoing grows stronger when it meets no resistance. 37. Benazir Bhutto, the 11th Prime Minister of Pakistan. Democracy is the best revenge. Is a powerful and symbolic expression shaped by Pakistan's turbulent political history and her own personal sacrifices. Benazir Bhutto was overthrown twice by military-backed governments, imprisoned, exiled, and lost her father, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, to a military execution. Despite this, she rejected violence or personal retaliation. 38. Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Governor-General of Pakistan. With faith, discipline, and selfless devotion to duty, there is nothing worthwhile that you cannot achieve. He is saying that success is not limited by circumstances, wealth, or power, but by character. When faith guides you, discipline shapes your actions, and selflessness defines your purpose, even the most challenging goals become achievable. 39. King Abdullah II, King of Jordan. True leadership is serving others. He emphasizes a service-based view of leadership rather than power or authority. Leadership is about responsibility, not status. A leader puts people first. Power should be used to uplift. Leadership is action, not words. 40. King Abdulaziz Al Saud, King of Saudi Arabia, taught, "I was raised on patience." It's simple, but they carry deep meaning when understood in the context of his life and leadership. The quote teaches that great achievements require long-term patience, discipline, and resilience. Success is not rushed. It is built over time through calm persistence. 41. Vladimir Lenin, Chairman of the Council of People's Commissars of the Soviet Union. There are decades where nothing happens, and there are weeks where decades happen. His meant that most of the time, society, politics, and economies change slowly. Years or even decades may pass with only minor, gradual developments. But occasionally, a short period of time, weeks or months, brings massive, transformative change. Revolutions, wars, collapses of systems, or breakthroughs that completely reshape the future.
42. Mikhail Gorbachev, General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. If not me, who? And if not now, when? His meant that a powerful sense of personal responsibility, moral courage, and urgency. If you have the ability to act and the moment is right, then the responsibility is yours. Waiting means missing the chance.
43. Václav Havel, President of the Czech Republic. Truth and love must prevail over lies and hatred. It's express a moral and civic philosophy, not just a poetic slogan. Here's a clear explanation of what he meant. When individuals choose truth in daily life, even small truths weaken unjust power. Real change must be grounded in humanity, not anger or cruelty, even toward enemies. Havel believed that societies change for the better when individuals choose honesty and compassion, even in the face of oppression and lies. 44. Lech Walesa, the President of Poland. I am lazy, but it's the lazy people who invented the wheel. His meant that people who hate wasting energy are often the ones who change the world because they invent better ways to do things. It's not about being lazy. It's about efficiency, creativity, and refusing pointless struggle. 45. Jacinda Ardern, 40th Prime Minister of New Zealand. One of the criticisms I've faced is that I'm not aggressive enough. She is acknowledging that some people judge her leadership as too soft or gentle, especially when compared to more confrontational or forceful leaders. However, this criticism often comes from traditional expectations that equate strong leadership with aggression.
Her words subtly question society's definition of power. She suggests that you can be decisive, strong, and successful without being aggressive.
46. Shinzo Abe, Prime Minister of Japan. Japan is back. His meant that Japan has returned to a position of confidence, strength, and active leadership on the global stage after a long period of economic stagnation and political caution. 47. Park Chung-hee, the third President of South Korea. Economic development is the foundation of national strength. Reflects his core belief about how a country becomes powerful and stable. A country becomes strong not just through weapons or politics, but by first making its economy strong. When people are productive and prosperous, the nation can protect itself and grow. 48. Moon Jae-in, the 12th President of South Korea. Peace is the beginning of prosperity. Mean that lasting economic growth and social well-being can only happen when there is peace. Moon Jae-in emphasizes that peace is not just a moral goal, It is the foundation upon which prosperity, progress, and a better quality of life are built. Without peace, true prosperity cannot last.
49. Benjamin Franklin, USA. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. His quote means that freedom should not be sacrificed for short-term security, because doing so ultimately destroys both. Franklin is warning that when people give up essential freedoms, such as freedom of speech, privacy, or personal rights, in exchange for temporary protection or safety, they end up losing liberty, because once freedoms are surrendered, they are rarely fully restored. Safety, because a society without liberty often becomes unstable, oppressive, and unsafe in the long run. 50. Thomas Sankara, first president of Burkina Faso. You cannot carry out fundamental change without a certain amount of madness is a powerful way of describing what real transformation demands. If your ideas do not make people uncomfortable, you are probably not changing anything important. True transformation always requires a level of boldness that ordinary thinking cannot justify.
Thank you for your watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos.